Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the Catch Max podcast. We're previewing the big Melbourne derby between the Stars and the Renegades at the MCG. Happy New Year to all. Adam Crossway is with me as always, and our special guest, Glenn Maxwell, is going to be giving us some insight into what he's thinking and behind the scenes of today's game. Happy New Year, Crossy and Maxi.
G'day guys, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Maxi. How's it been going, mate? Talk us through the camp at the moment.
Yeah, well, it's certainly a different look to the first three games. On a nice little roll at the moment, 3 wins in a row. Boys playing absolutely beautifully. Nice bit of rhythm from basically all our batters, and our bowlers starting to really work out where they fit in, and how we structure up. So everything seems to be working really nicely now. Obviously, a bit disappointing to lose the 2 Pakistani lads in Osama and Harris. But the way that everyone else has stood up around them to, I suppose, fill that void has been awesome.
And mate, we were talking earlier today about the overseas players sort of being a really good fit this year. You seem to have replaced them well.
Yeah, well, I suppose we've gone a bit of a different way. We haven't gone to the traditional way of, all right, we've lost Harris Ralph, so we've got to replace him with a quick. We've sort of backed our local guys to replace certain parts of the game and then bolstered other areas and made like slight adjustments, which is a bit different to the way we've gone about it in previous years. But really happy with the way that Dan Lawrence sort of came and found his feet first game, got 50 on debut and just looked right at home. He's a really classy player from Essex in England. He's played plenty of international cricket. He's got that experience, and he was able to sort of slip into the change room seamlessly, and he just looked a class above out there. So adjusted our lineup a little bit with Harps going down the order into the middle order, which I think will just give us better, I suppose, access to at the death overs with a guy that can lap like Harps. I think it just opens up his role a little bit more and allows him to play with that freedom without the thought of the swinging or seaming ball.
And Marcus Stoinis, mate, he's come back with a vengeance and was pretty good to get him back firing.
Yeah, how good. It feels like every year on New Year's, it's almost the start of the Stoinis show, and he did it last year for us, same sort of start to the tournament, and was able to come out on New Year's last year and absolutely pump it everywhere. And he's done it again this time, and 55 off 19 balls. You can never discount Stoin. He's such a power hitter. He's so imposing to any opposition player, and he can take the game away from you within a couple of overs. And to have him firing, we know how much Bo Webster's been big for us this year, but to have, I suppose, another all-rounder absolutely firing the middle overs just takes care of a few headaches for us.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the New Year's game, mate. Obviously a massive crowd in Adelaide and a fantastic cricket wicket. 400 odd runs scored on the night. Talk to us about the atmosphere out there, and I guess that setting up that chase.
Yeah, it was a sensational atmosphere. I think once the first 5 or 6 overs had gone by, we'd probably resigned ourselves to the fact that we're probably going to be chasing around 215 to 220, maybe even a little bit more. And knowing how good that wicket was, probably the best wicket that we've played on in the last few years. It was so evenly paced. There was a short boundary on one side, which was getting peppered all night. And even the other side at Adelaide Oval it's not that long, but it just feels a little bit longer when you look at the other side of the ground. So it was all the boundaries are getting peppered, and it just felt like it was really hard to execute at different times. And the way that everyone stayed calm throughout that, our bowlers were brilliant to deal with. Didn't let big overs, I suppose, affect their mood. They sort of stuck at the business right towards the end, and it was probably a big reason why we weren't chasing that 220 total that we thought we might be chasing.
Yeah, the bowling group was outstanding at the back end, mate. But the batters, you guys looked outstanding, and mate, congratulations! It's your 100th game tonight for the Melbourne Stars. How does that sit with you?
Yeah, it's quite funny because it feels like it wasn't that long ago that I was celebrating my 100th BBL game, and only played, I think, what was it, 5 or 6 for the Renegades in that first year, and made the move across to the following year in BBL 02. And It's been a great ride, a great journey with the Stars ever since my first year there, and to, I suppose, be here in this edition as captain and still going and feeling like I'm probably batting as well as I have in any of the seasons is I'm quite proud of and glad that we're still in the finals hunt as well, and hopefully this year we can get that elusive trophy I've been chasing for, was it 13 or 14 years now, and looking forward to hopefully giving it a really good run this year.
And mate, obviously the rivalry, you've had a foot in both camps. Can you take us back to probably that end of that first year and your decision to move to the Stars from the Renegades? Was it something sort of you just looked at opportunities with one team over the other? I don't want to sort of make the rivalry any worse here with your comments, but can you take us back to that moment and that decision?
Yeah, I suppose at the time there was a few leaders in that Melbourne Renegades side that I'd sort of followed over. It was Hodge and McDonald, who I was quite close to in the Victorian side, and with them, they probably left the Renegades first before I'd made a decision. And I think knowing what experience opportunities I could have under Shane Warne at the Melbourne Stars, I think that was really appealing to me, to play under one of the greats of the game and play alongside him and learn my craft. I think that was probably one of the massive reasons of changing across the other side of town, and I wouldn't change that decision for the world. I still remember the phone call Warney gave me, and we had a chat on the phone for a while, and even as a young player, he made you feel like you were a world beater, and I certainly wasn't at that time, but it was nice for him to make the effort, give me a phone call, and get me on board. But I certainly enjoyed that first year under him.
Well, you're a world beater now, mate, and you're in some serious form. Well, it's probably been since you've come back from this busted leg, there's been something in your batting that's just gone to another level. Can you put a finger on it?
Yeah, I probably can't move around as much, Crossy. I'm a little bit more still at the crease. But yeah, I think I was talking to Bo Webster and the coaches at the halfway break the other night, and I just remember those first 4 or 5 balls that I faced, and I was like, this is the best I've ever felt batting. Like, I felt like everything was in slow motion. I felt like I had time to make decisions. Felt really calm at the crease, and I just sort of had to get him to tell me to calm down a little bit and sort of just make sure I was sort of staying to my process and staying in the moment and concentrating on the game. Because I found a real nice, happy peace, I think, with my batting, where I'm comfortable in my own skin. I'm comfortable with going out there and taking it on from ball one, and just really clear about where I want to hit the ball. Probably didn't look that way against the Hobart Hurricanes, where I was a little bit erratic and all over the place. But I think to get to Adelaide Oval, knowing the wicket's good, I was able to trust the bounce and I suppose make pretty good decisions.
And it's not just your batting, mate. You've had a real impact with the ball in the last couple, obviously, taking wickets in both. You probably underbowled yourself early in the tournament. It's what does you bowling do for the team?
I did come off. After the Brisbane game, I worked out that I think the previous 4 overs that I'd bowled in total had gone for 74. So I was a little bit gun shy to sort of take up the bowling crease again, and I suppose getting down to Hobart, where there was a little bit of drizzle around, the wicket was skidding on a little bit, and I was able just to get a little bit of zip off the pitch, and was able to sneak a few past the Canes boys, and I suppose that little bit of momentum gave me a bit of confidence, even heading to Adelaide with short square boundaries, just to, I suppose, try and change the game, change the pace of the game, and try a few different things, try a few knuckleballs and see what happens. And got fortunate with Matt Short picking out deep mid wicket, and then was able to sort of control it from there on in.
Now you move into tonight's game, weather pending. Obviously, we're 4:50 on the night of the game, and Melbourne's looking a bit dark. But how's the feel amongst the group for the game against Renegades?
Yeah, there's certainly a bit of an exciting feeling amongst this group. Just to, I suppose, get the opportunity to play in the derby when we're on the right move up the the leaderboard, and there's a nice sense of calmness around the group, which I'm really enjoying. We've got a great, I suppose, mix of experience in our change room, which is, I think, rubbing off really well on the younger guys, and just helping us, I suppose, stay level regardless of wins or losses. We're able to stay quite level after games and enjoy each other's success, and I suppose learn and pass on those learnings to each other as we go along throughout this tournament.
And who are the keys for them, mate? Obviously, you've mentioned young Rooster a couple of times in tweets and while chatting to us. Who are the keys for them?
Yeah, you certainly look at the top order from them. They've obviously got some power there. The two left-handers in De Kock and Shaun Marsh. Regardless of what form or how many runs De Kock's made this tournament, you always feel like a big one's not far away for him. And Shaun Marsh has been in amazing form, and we're going to obviously have to come up with our plans to keep him quiet and keep his impact out of as little in the game as possible. And yes, I have spoken about Rooster a fair few times. He's a seriously talented player, and I think he's, at the moment in Australia, he's probably the most skilled young batter in the country, and I don't think it's going to be long before we see him wearing the Australian colours and playing a lot of games in white ball cricket for Australia. And he could play Test cricket. He's got that ability that I think he can change through formats, and he's going to be a big player for Australia for a long time. As far as their bowling, we know they've got Zamps and Richo, two of their experienced guys who are obviously can get into the contest. They always get themselves up for the derbies, and it'll be nice to see how Zamps is received by this home crowd.
You mentioned Adam Zampa, mate. How do you attack someone like Adam Zampa? Obviously, he's a world class bowler himself, a teammate a lot of the time, and you're coming up against him tonight. How does that come about tonight?
I think guys will have their own individual plans of how to tackle him. We've seen what he's been able to do over a long period of time and how successful he has been. But in saying that, a lot of us have trained with him over a long period of time. We know what he does. We know he does really well. I've been obviously lucky enough to share the Australian change room with him, the Stars change room with him, play a lot with him and against him in state cricket as well. So certainly looking forward to taking him on. I think there hopefully will be a few nerves from him coming back to the MCG, and hopefully we can get on top of him early.
And mate, you mentioned the MCG. Obviously, Adelaide Oval last game with the short square. MCG completely different. Obviously, deep, or quite long boundaries on square of the wicket. Tactically, as a captain, how do you sort of change your bowling plans, your batting plans when you're playing at different venues like that?
Yeah, so I suppose it's the two polar opposites when you look around Australia and the ground sizes. You go from Adelaide Oval, where a lot of the time you're looking for length to pick up and hit square or over the offside, and then you come to the MCG and you're looking for anything slightly over pitch where you can hit it down the ground and really attack those straight boundaries. And it goes the other way with the bowling. You're probably less likely to head to Yorkers at the MCG, worrying that if you just slightly miss, it can become a half volley or a full toss. It's a bit easier to hit down the ground. So you'll see a lot more balls sort of banged into the wicket, a little bit of off-pace stuff, trying to mess up the batter's momentum and rhythm to try and hit over those long boundaries with plenty of fielders out there to take those catches. So there'll be certainly a big change in tactics, and one of the things we're really happy with was, especially last game, was probably a guy like Joel Paris who came in and did a different role for us. We don't normally like bowling guys 2 overs in a row at the back end, but the way him and Mark Security executed and got us back into the game with their changes of pace, their heel Yorkers and changes of line was absolutely ascent, and was a big part of the reason why we were chasing a total that we felt that was 10 or 15 under what we thought we were going to be chasing.
Nice one. Mate, that's a fantastic insight. We've got another massive announcement tonight as well. Do you want to have a crack at explaining it?
Yeah, I'll give it a crack.
So
Catch Max, it's one of the most exciting things of all time, and I think it's heading towards, what is it, the 15th of January, our final home game. I think it's against the Hobart Hurricanes, if memory serves me correct.
Correct.
So on the 15th of January, there's going to be a big opportunity for 4 people and 1 lucky person drawn out of the crowd. They will be in the running, or not, they will be the person to have the opportunity to take a catch for $1 million. Up to $1 million, there's going to be cash balls, and you'll be able to pick out a cash amount, and one of them will have $1 million. So you'll be able to come out halfway of that game, wherever you are, flown out to the MCG for that game, accommodation taken care of, and you will get the chance to catch a ball for up to $1 million. And
well done. You're explaining it brilliantly.
And I cannot wait. It's going to be incredible, even just to be there for our last home game, which hopefully will have the Stars pairing on the way to finals. But to throw in a massive cash prize as well and get the opportunity to do this in front of a lot of people at the MCG, it's something I'm really excited about, and I'm looking forward to seeing the 4 winners plus the 5th one who's drawn out of the crowd.
Absolutely. And thanks to the Stars for all their help with that. It's going to be amazing. As you said, 4 people who are Catch Max members, obviously have to be Catch Max members, flown to the MCG to watch you play. Obviously, they'll get to meet you on the day, which is probably more exciting. But then, as you say, come out onto the ground, the middle of the MCG. What's it like standing in the middle of the MCG trying to catch a ball?
Yeah, look, it's pretty hard. So I'm not going to lie. There's been a few high balls that have gone up that I've been a bit nervous under, and probably most famously in one of my early games at the MCG playing for Victoria, I think the Vics went through about an 8-over stage where we dropped 5 catches, and I think I dropped 3 of them. So it's not that easy to take catches at the MCG. There's plenty of things going on. There's lots of distractions, but if you can hone your catching skills over the next couple of weeks and get yourself ready, and if you're the lucky person to get that chance to take that catch, hopefully you go home with plenty of extra cash in the back pocket.
100%. You can join up, www.catchmax.io, or head along on the night. As you said, there's going to be someone drawn out of the crowd. So there will be 5 people selected, 4 previously, and then 1 on the night. All need to be Catch Max members, and you could win $1 million. As you said, tough to take a catch out there, and none of those ones had $1 million on the line.
No, they certainly didn't, and it's an incredible thing that we've been able to do, and it comes back to my brilliant fans and all of you guys out there. This couldn't happen without your support, and hopefully this is a small way that I can at least give back a little bit, and there'll be still plenty of more prizes and merchandise, memorabilia up for grabs over the next little bit. So stay tuned. I'm sure this will be only just the beginning of something really special.
Are you nervous about having to pay the $1 million, mate?
Yeah, I am. Wife, a little bit unsure what I'm doing, but that's okay. It's certainly worth it to see someone go home extremely happy. And as I said, get your catching skills up to scratch and get ready to take some hangers.
Absolutely. Mate, we'll let you go. We know you're on the way to the game. So thank you very much for having a chat to us again tonight. All the best in your 100th, and hopefully the Stars have another win.
Thanks very much, guys. Take care.
All the best. Chat to you soon.
Good luck, Maxi. Go well.
Thank you.
How good was that, Crossy? Obviously, some fantastic insights. Maxi on the way to the game there. It was absolutely awesome to get a bit of an understanding of what goes on behind the scenes at the Stars pre-game.
Well, that's it. The ride-in with Maxi is something that potentially could catch on, I reckon. It's just great to sort of see, get the inside info of what they're thinking, how they're thinking, and all that goes into getting ready for a Big Bash game. And with some exciting news on the back end, which is Catch Max and the $1 million catch. I don't know how I'd go, mate, underneath a high ball with $1 million on the line.
Are you allowed to have your keeping gloves on?
Well, that's up to you. You're making the rules of this thing. I thought it was bare hand. I think it was bare hand, but keeping gloves would be handy. But I think barehanded would. If you do take that catch, you're going to have imagine the party.
Absolutely, mate. I reckon mid-game, Maxi himself would be running out there doing laps if it went off. As he said, I'm not sure his wife would be if it's coming out of their bank account, but you never know.
Well, that's it. It's a great thing that he's doing, and it's a great community to be involved in, and Catch Max has been going for quite some time now, but we're driving people to it, and it's there's a lot more to come, and it's super exciting as we get closer to this $1 million catch.
Absolutely, and things like this content are exclusive to Catch Max, so you get that insight from Maxi pre-game that you just don't get anywhere else. So fantastic what he's doing, and the exclusive content and benefits for fans of Glenn Maxwell. But one more question, just on that $1 million catch. You've been out on the MCG and obviously played a lot of cricket. Have you got any tips about catching balls under lights at the MCG?
I do actually. One of the crazy things about the MCG, if you look up to the top of the stands and you see which way the flags are going, the wind direction in the middle of the MCG is the complete opposite to which way the flags are going in the MCG. The top of the stand, the wind inside the ground will be going, let's say, to the left of screen, and you look up and the flags are flowing to the right of screen. It's one of these crazy things that you keep looking up at the flags and they're going that way, but the wind's going this way. So a lot of young players and a lot of players have been duped by that in the past. So have a look at the flags. Whichever way they're going, the wind is going the opposite direction.
There you go. Tips from the master, Adam Crossway. That's a very, very important one, I think. That you do get one chance each person, so that could stitch up a few on the night. So very, very important tip there. Mate, thanks again for your time today. We're going to obviously get ready to go and watch the game. So thanks for your involvement again, and thanks to everyone for listening to Catch Max, and as you say, the drive to the match with Maxi.
Well, that's it. It's going to be a great one. The Renegades and Stars. I'm not sure who's going to come out on top tonight. I think Stars have got the form and they're looking like a pretty good side. So I'm going to stick with the Stars tonight. Yeah,
I agree. I think they've just got a lot of momentum right now. Hopefully we get a game in. As you said, it's a bit stormy over there. So it might even be one for the team batting second that just know what they're chasing, as we saw in Hobart. But the Stars have got form there.
Well, that's it. Yeah, we just got to hope this Melbourne rain gets lost and we can get a game in.
Absolutely, mate. Thanks again. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you for the next Stars home game. We'll get Maxi on again and have a chat and see how they're going before the next one. But thanks for joining.